The mission of this project is to convince audiences that creativity is important across all disciplines, that it should be federally funded, and arts education should be supported. Federal funding for the arts has been contentious because of conservative arguments that it is wasteful, overly left-leaning, and not the responsibility of government. The current administration proposed a budget that would cut the national endowments for the arts and humanities and the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, and the Institute of Museum and Library Services. The budget of these organizations make up a negligible amount of public spending. These funding cuts would dramatically hurt cultural sectors. Small art groups, independent programmers, community programs, and grants that support young artists would lose opportunities.
Growing up in public schools, I always took art classes, an art history class, creative writing classes, and they were across the board my favorite classes in school. By the time I was in middle school and high school, I found that writing specifically was an art form that I could really use to express myself and helped me begin to understand myself and understand pretty much the world around me. And from encouragement from my creative writing teachers, I gained more confidence and I tried new things and took more risks with my writing, and that has just been invaluable.
How does America compare to other countries in our support for the arts and humanities? Per capita federal funding for the arts through the NEA is minuscule compared with that in such countries as Finland, France, and Germany. Because we don't value creativity on a cultural scale, arts programs at public schools often undergo drastic cuts.
The arguments against funding do not attribute value to creativity. They see it as a pastime, not a crucial human undertaking. It is the mark of a great democracy to support the arts, which are an expression of what makes us human, says the Association of Art Museum Directors.
So photography has been really an outlet for me to embrace my creativity just by taking things that one would not usually think of as being creative and making it so that you can see it from a different perspective or a different point of view. It's like making my own composition, Creativity has helped me to thrive in the classroom setting because it's actually helped me to look at different situations and from different points of view so that I can think outside of the box and be able to come to a solution.
Against this troubling cultural and national backdrop, we're including conversations with an elementary arts educator, a secondary education major at Clemson who values creativity about the threats posed to support for the arts, and an aerospace engineer.
In my opinion, creativity is vital to American culture because you can just take a look around. Take a look around at several of the leaders of Fortune 500 companies and all types of sorts of leadership. Each one of those people had to have a creative vision, whether it had been inventing something, whether it had been refining something that was already made, but each one of those people had to have some sense of creativity to take that organization to the next level. In order to be able to make those new technologies, you have to have creativity. You have to have the skills necessary to be creative.
My godmother has been a teacher in the Atlanta area public schools for 25 years, and she's a third grade art teacher. I asked her, I wanted to really hear her experiences about how she felt about funding for the arts and how important that was. The arts teach you how to be a problem solver. When you mess up in art, you can't necessarily always go back and fix it, so it teaches you to work with what you have. Susie really believed that even if a student isn't necessarily artistic, it teaches you so much about how to think critically. So, for example, she had a student that actually emailed her a few years ago and is now a doctor, and he was telling her how much he appreciated her input on how to be creative and always be like a problem solver, because he was in surgery and you have to really think on the ball. He had to be creative in the least creative setting. He's in the sciences. He probably took hundreds of math courses, but found himself needing to be critically creative in order to save a person's life. So if we want the next generation of doctors and scientists to be successful, we need creativity in these lesson plans that start when they're 3 and end for a doctor when they're 35. It also gives students who are also artistically gifted a chance to really harness that ability in their class, and it's equally as beneficial for all students.
Hello, my name is Sani Omar, and I'm a PhD student in aerospace engineering. Many people outside of the field of engineering think that creativity is not important from engineers. However, that could not be further from the truth. Today, engineering requires a greater level of creativity than ever before, largely because mundane tasks and routine calculations can be easily handled by computers, whereas humans are required to solve the more complicated problems that computers cannot tackle. Creative exercises outside the field of engineering, such as art, music, chess, and literature, equip the brain with the creative tools necessary to tackle complicated problems in an imaginative way and solve them efficiently with the resources at hand.
When I was in high school, I was in a marching band that didn't have funding from the school, and so we had to raise all of our money ourselves through like bake sales and fruit sales and just random fundraisers that we could find. And it made a big difference in our competition because the years that we had more donors, we tended to do well in competition and have a better band program overall than the years where, we were kind of scraping funds from our parents.
So the high school that I went to, we sent students to what was called the Career Technology Center. A few other local schools participated in it as well, and there students could take classes like firefighting, cosmetology, digital art design, and radio and TV broadcasting, among other things that you wouldn't normally take at a regular high school. I took radio and TV broadcasting there, and it was there that I really got to explore my creative interests and discovered that I really loved editing video. I also found a creative outlet for me in college. I DJ/work at the Clemson student-run radio station, WSBF. And without that and my classes in high school, I don't know where I would be today creatively.
An additional $1 million in funding for the South Carolina Arts Commission could help fix South Carolina's broken public school system, art advocates say. The Arts Commission is asking state lawmakers for the money to provide more grants for school programs in music, dance, theater, and the visual arts, particularly those in the state's poor, rural school districts. Art advocates see the request as part of a legislative fix to a November state Supreme Court order to correct inequities that deny educational opportunity to students in the state's poor schools. Our call to action is that we need to change our cultural attitude toward creativity and value it more highly. The problem of a creativity deficit can only get worse if support for the arts and humanities keeps getting cut.